Armstrong. I have things other than true that are so beautiful, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I don't know any other verses. I just know that part. And like, as you can hear, I didn't even know the words to the freaking chorus, but I have heard this song. It's one of the more recognizable and biggest songs ever. But ironically, I don't know the words. I don't know the words, and I feel like Louis Armstrong is one of those names that everybody heard, but I'll speak for myself. I really don't know much about him. This is a genuine first-time reaction to Louis Armstrong. Again, I know his name. I know he's a legend. But I don't really know much about him. I really don't. And so, because of that, we gotta do some research. And it's so crazy. Like I know he played saxophone, horn. I know he's known for being a great musician, both as a instrumentalist and as a singer, but I don't know. I got so much learning to do, and I feel kind of bad for not knowing more about Louis Armstrong. But here we go. Nicknamed Satchmo, Satch, and Pops, was an American trumpet. Okay, so I was all wrong. And vocalist. He was among the most influential figures in jazz. His career spanned 5 decades and several eras in the history of jazz. Armstrong received numerous accolades, including Grammy Award for Best Male Vocalist for Hello, Dolly in 1965, as well as a Grammy win for Lifetime Achievement in 1972, the year after he died. His influence crossed musical genres with inductions into the Downbeat Jazz Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame, among others. Wow. It's from New Orleans. Didn't even know that. Two kids. Around 1922, Armstrong followed his mentor Joe King Oliver to Chicago to play in Oliver's Creole jazz band. Armstrong earned a reputation at cutting contests, and his fame reached band leader Fletcher Henderson. He moved to New York, where he became a featured and musically influential band soloist and recording artist. With his instantly recognizable rich, gravelly voice, Armstrong was also an influential singer and skillful improviser. He was also skilled at scat singing. Skibidi bop bop, skitty boop bop. I like scat. By the end of Armstrong's life, his influence had spread to popular music. He was one of the first popular African American entertainers to cross over to wide popularity with white and international audiences. Armstrong rarely publicly discussed racial issues to the dismay of fellow African Americans, but took a well-publicized stand for desegregation in the Little Rock crisis. He could access the upper echelons of American society at the time when this was difficult for black men. Gotcha. So a lot of people felt like he was like a sellout because he didn't really speak out on issues, but kind of just protecting his, protecting his brand and what he was doing. We aren't even close to the times that Louis Armstrong was living and dealing with, and artists still do that today. So I'm not gonna hold that against him. But wow, I did not know that he was one of the first to quote unquote cross over. But now that I think about it, 1901, and his career started in the 20s. Yeah, that makes sense. But wow, just phenomenal career. Spans several genres, several decades, and it seemed like he was still going pretty strong even up until he died. So very impressive, very impressive. Well, again, I know this song very little, but I have heard it, and I get the gist of it. I know what it's all about, but I'm definitely going to try to focus in on the words, because outside of, and I think to myself, I really don't know nothing else after that. So really going to try to focus on the words, but let's listen.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow.
It's so crazy, and I do think this song has some metaphoric in it, but if you just took it for what he's saying and just kind of look at nature, we really do live in a wonderful world. Like, when you just consider, of course, this camera is technology. Louis, he's talking about actual nature, things that were here before us and going to be here after us. Like, we live in a wonderful world, man. Just when you step outside and just take a deep breath, especially if you live somewhere with clean air. I don't. I live right next to DC. We probably have the worst air pollution in the country, behind New York and LA. But if you ever just step outside your front door and just look at nature, just look at the sky, look at the trees, take a deep breath. It's a really beautiful thing to see. It really is.
So pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I mean, and he has the perfect voice for the record. Perfect voice. Like, I could imagine a lot of people, especially tech vocal teachers that's on YouTube and stuff, I could imagine them not liking that voice. Because it's gritty and it's not smooth. Nothing about his voice is smooth. It sounds like he's gargling something, and it's almost like he drowned himself in cigarettes. But it's the perfect voice. In all of its quote-unquote imperfections, it is the perfect voice. And then when you add in the fact that he can actually sing with it, because there's a lot of people that have this kind of voice talking, right? And they can't sing. You know what I mean? But the fact that he could actually sing is very impressive. And all these years, I never really appreciated the orchestration in the back. Because this record is just a beautiful orchestra. Beautiful. It's how they kind of mock his tone and his I see trees as green, and then the violins. Like it's a beautiful record. It's a beautiful record. I could actually see someone getting emotional to this record. It's really, really beautiful. I wonder if is this song in that movie, What a Wonderful Life? And it's so crazy. I've never seen that movie, but of course everybody talks about how great of a movie it is and how it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I've never seen that movie. But just based off of the title, both of the titles of the song and the film, I just automatically assumed. But beautiful record, man. Beautiful record. And again, what a perfect voice for it. It's a perfect voice for this. Absolutely enjoyed it, man. I can't tell you how ashamed I feel by not really knowing much about Louis Armstrong, but I'm happy that we're changing that and we're starting the journey. And I'm really, really excited to learn more about this icon, man, that I've heard so much about and know very little about. So hopefully we change that, man. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget the 75K giveaway. Until next time with Louis Armstrong. Peace.